and I think they're still pushing people back. And for all practical purposes, it's a ghost town down there now. Nobody is anywhere close to that building unless they're bomb techs. So you won't be seeing very many more pictures close up to the building.
Let us also tell you that we are expecting some sort of a statement or a briefing, something from the White House, and when that comes down, we will break into our coverage of the explosion in downtown Oklahoma City and bring that to you. The White House is expected to address what happened at the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in downtown Oklahoma City.
All right, that's, in fact, we're going to go to CBS now. We're going to toss to CBS News for the latest from Washington.
Any additional assistance that needed to be provided to local officials in Oklahoma City. The Attorney General reported to the Chief of Staff that she had already dispatched an FBI team. We understand that other federal agencies, including FEMA, are also in a position to respond, and the Chief of Staff will be convening a meeting just so we draw together how the administration is responding later on. I'll have more to report on that later on in the day. I'm going to go to the readout now on the meeting with Prime Minister Chilera, and I've got three extremely distinguished officials.
Can you take one question on the Oklahoma City?
I'll take one question. I won't have any.
Wait, I think he's going to answer one question on Oklahoma City. Can we get
insight into what was behind the explosion? Was it in fact a bomb? Is that what the White House?
Well, apparently we lost our audio.
Had a response, an appropriate response underway, and FBI officials were on their way. Let me introduce the Assistant Secretary of State for European and Canadian Affairs, Richard Holbrooke, who's just attended the meeting between the Prime Minister and the President. I think you all know also Alexander Vershbow, who's Senior Director for European Affairs at the
They have moved along to other
Council,
topics.
and it is a great pleasure to introduce at the White House.
We have already told you essentially what they said, and that is that the FBI, ATF, all the federal agencies are responding, people from all over the country, obviously first aid resources and rescue resources coming in from all over the state. The governor's activated the National Guard, the entire Department of Public Safety to help out with this huge explosion in downtown Oklahoma City. And RD, you have seen more of it than anybody. The destruction down there.
It's amazing. That building's not that old. It's a newer building. It's one of the bigger, more modern buildings in the city. Everyone's probably familiar with it. And to see more than half of it gone, you can actually stand to the south of it and look all the way through the building. So more than half of that building is gone.
How many people did you see while you were there covering it, coming out of the building?
Your tape, right?
Many, and not just from that building. Surrounding buildings. There's surrounding buildings that are missing their facades.
What about specifically out of that building? That's a concern for many people who are watching. Certainly people have survived this, folks. We want to make that clear.
Well, unfortunately, it took me a while to get there, 15, 20 minutes. So I don't know how many people were actually, after the blast, able to walk out. While I was there, I did not see that many people come out. I'm assuming that they're trapped or that they're physically unable to get out. At the time that they were moving us back, they were sending in a massive amount of personnel, medical personnel, backboard stretchers, that kind of thing. So I believe that there are many people inside the building. Actually, if we rewound this tape further, you would see people standing in the windows up on the 4th and 5th floor.
We want to get back to you in a second. R.D. Rowland is a photographer who shot these pictures from right down there on the street. He's got a lot of experience with this. His wife is also a nurse, so we'll talk to you more in a minute, perhaps about some injuries and things. Right now, Tammy Payne's in the Live Center with some new information. Tammy?
We have a slew of people in here, Kelly, Jennifer, as you know, bringing in more information that we want to pass along. Right now, we're getting new word from Civil Defense. New word, if you have a loved one downtown, they're asked that you not call now the numbers we gave. They're asking you to please get off the phone so they can call you. Apparently, many people downtown are trying to call home to notify their loved ones, and the best bet now is to stay off the phone. They've got them in facilities where they can call family members. So toss out those numbers and do get off the phone, and that's your best chance to hear from someone downtown. We're also getting word from the airport. Tom Morton from Will Rogers says they have swept airport terminals as a precaution. They have received no directives from the FAA or FBI to take any precautionary measures beyond that, but they are ready to if they get the call. At this point, all flights are on schedule at Will Rogers Airport.
Tammy, let us tell you, we're just getting word now from down on the scene. Randy Renner tells us they have found a third explosive device near the federal building.
And it may be, we're told that it may be bigger than the others, and we've just shown you the incredible just destruction caused by what may have been an or several explosives. We don't know. We know that it was a bomb of some kind. How many, who planted them, that kind of stuff is all still up in the air. We have another important question that needs to be answered, and you may be able to help the folks at Veterans Hospital. Veterans Hospital is telling us that they have some kids there and they don't know who they are. They have had some kids who were injured taken to their hospital and they don't know who they are. If you are waiting for word on your kids, you may want to try to give them a call. I mean, we're hesitant to have you use the phones because there's a problem with that right now, but this is apparently a pretty urgent need. 270-5173 is the number at the VA hospital to call if you had kids in the center and have not been able to find out if they are okay. Loved ones only, please. If you are desperately trying to get information on a child that you think may have been in this daycare center, 270-5173 is the number at Veterans Hospital.
At this time, I know there are a lot of people who have been joining us off and on throughout the morning. We want to recap for you what has happened in downtown Oklahoma City. A tragedy of this magnitude, certainly downtown Oklahoma City has not seen in decades. 9 o'clock this morning, if you're in the metro area, you heard it and you felt it. A massive explosion ripped through the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. That explosion was felt 80 miles away, and our first look at it from Ranger 9 was breathtaking. We're going to get that video.
Of the building?
That's the federal courthouse across the street.
Okay, there's the federal courthouse.
Our first look at it, that was our first look at the federal building, and it was just breathtaking. Hundreds of people work in that building. At about 10:30 this morning, after the smoke had cleared, people started running through downtown after a second explosive device was found. It was disarmed about 25 minutes after that.
Perhaps two. We were told perhaps two had been found.
And now we are told that a third explosive device has been found in the building, and we're told they are working on that right now.
So the first question has been answered. Was this some kind of just a freak accidental explosion of some kind, or was it intentional? We know now. The ATF is confirming, federal officials saying now, yes, it was a man-made explosive that caused the damage. We are told, and it is confirmed now, that they have found one or more other explosives at the scene, either in or near the building. At least one of those has been disarmed, but there is still a fear of another possible explosive device at the scene. Randy Renner on the scene telling us that they have found another explosive device. The Oklahoma County Bomb Squad, explosive experts from the Department of Public Safety, from the Oklahoma City Police Department, the Oklahoma City Fire Department Hazardous Materials Unit. You can see IMSA responding there. All of them on the scene and trying to first take care of first aid needs, and of course now they'll be looking at other security concerns in downtown, trying to secure the scene, get everybody back as well as they can, figure out what's going on, and defuse anything that they find there.
Newsline 9 Cynthia Gunn has joined us on the set right now. Cynthia, tell us about the information you're getting.
Well, I tell you what, I've just returned from University Hospital, where it's just a shuttle of ambulances, one after another, bringing in victims. We have the latest information now. 60 adults have been brought in. You're looking at video now, but we just brought back here to the newsroom.
Be careful. Let's just warn them now, Cynthia, that this is raw tape that we shot at the hospital, and we have not censored this in any way, so you may see some graphic stuff.
Yeah, they're pretty much, the victims have broken bones, cuts and bruises and burns. 60 adults are being taken care of now at University Hospital. At Children's Hospital, there are 10 children and 5 adults at that facility. They range in fair to critical condition, and a sad note here, the ages are from 2 months to 18 years old at Children's Hospital. Bad situation.
Cynthia, we've been told earlier that there were confirmed reports that 6 children were killed in this explosion. Do we have anything more on that?
Not from University Hospital, but I do understand that is a confirmed number from the officials at the scene.
At the scene.
Yeah.
So those perhaps, our assumption would be that those were children that were found dead at the scene and were not transported or treated in any way.
Exactly.
And that's the worst fear within probably 45 minutes or half an hour when we determined that there was still a daycare center inside this building. Our worst fear was that there would be fatalities, and it appears at this point that there were.
I have to tell you that the officials and the hospital personnel at University Hospital and Children's, and certainly St. Anthony's, all of the hospital facilities are responding. I mean, doctors and nurses that were off duty were coming in, rushing in. They are totally organized. There is no chaos there at all. It's called Condition Black, and we have 30 or 40 different hospital personnel who are standing outside of the emergency room waiting for the ambulances to come up, and they've got their teams ready, and they take the people and they get in and they get them treated. So that's what's happening.
They have a plan for this kind of thing. I mean, it may look perhaps chaotic to us because we don't understand it, but they plan for this kind of an emergency and how to respond.
Exactly. And the plan is working, as you can see there. The teams are getting the patients in and getting them treated. And you can imagine with that many 60 adults, they're getting taken care of.
Tammy?
Cindy, you're talking about the children. We want to pass this along. We just got it. There are 2 children under the age of 1 who are fine. They are uninjured, but they can't find their parents. And right now, 2 children from this building are at Memorial Hospital at 921 Northeast 13th. So 2 children, we're assuming from that daycare center, from that area, uninjured, a boy and a girl, and they are lost. They're at Memorial Hospital, 921 Northeast 13th is where they were taken. Lee Hunter, if you want to, this is the individual to contact, VA Police and Security, and I have a number. VA Police and Security, 270-5173. That's 270-5173. 2 children from this explosion, a boy and a girl under the age of 1 year, 12 months or younger, and they are uninjured. Cynthia, Kelly, Jennifer.
You know, one thing we should probably point out to you, to those of you watching this video, because of the nature of flying glass at the building, a lot of these injuries will turn out to look worse than they are because facial injuries bleed a lot. There's going to be a lot of facial injury, a lot of bleeding, and some of these people will perhaps look a little worse than they are, and they'll be quickly cleaned up and treated, and probably, hopefully, not so many of the injuries will be as life-threatening as they may appear from our video.
Well, and it's certainly a possibility that some of those injuries are coming from surrounding buildings because many windows were blown out.
Oh, absolutely. It's an incredible sight to behold, frankly. You know, the patients being unloaded and just the trauma of their injuries. It's a really sad thing.
Then we want to say about the explosion, 9 o'clock this morning, it was apparently a bomb, is the word. That's the theory that federal investigators are working on.
All right, and you can see here, this is a Mercy ambulance unit that probably came from Bethany, Yukon, Mustang area. I've seen paramedics that I know work in Shawnee, some that work in Piedmont. They have come in from all over. IMSA will also do a good job of moving resources out of Tulsa, bringing them down the Turnpike and having them here in our community to respond, and then Tulsa communities will make up the slack up there. They do practice for this kind of thing even statewide. All these agencies get together and have disaster drills, and this is why they do it, so that they can be ready to respond in this kind of an emergency.
Newsline 9's Randy Rayner is downtown. He continues to follow what was the discovery of a 3rd explosive device, and one that was said to be larger than the second one that was found. The first, if there was a first, and federal agents are working on that, that's a very strong possibility, went off. Second one was found disarmed at about 10:30, and a third one has been found, as we have been told, has not been disarmed
yet. Robin Marsh is standing by right now at the Triage area, which is near the federal building where the blast happened. Robin?
Let us back. Jennifer and Kelly, they have moved us now about another 2 blocks back. We're at 6th and Oklahoma. We're at the Triage Center, as you mentioned, and I've got Paul and Kim here. They're medical students volunteering their time. Paul, tell us what you're expecting to come here and how many workers are here right now.
Well, initially, right after they were doing the cleanup from the initial explosion, we had 4 triage centers set up in this area around the building. And then what they did is they continued to move us up when they found the second bomb. They moved us away, and they continued to move us away until they could set this up. But we're expecting about 150 people to come in here. Now, that's what I've heard some of the other physicians talking about.
All right, so you are saying there are people still inside the building that are hurt, and are they critical? I mean, are the critical ones coming here? Is that what your impression is?
We really don't know. One of the ladies that we treated, she had some superficial wounds, some cuts and so forth on her legs. There was 12 people that were killed on her floor alone, and so they're pulling those people out of there now, and some of the others that they're bringing them down the ladders. We've treated several people, taken them from triage up to the critical care area that was a block north of the building.
How many? 6th and Robinson. How many people are here volunteering and medical attendants?
Like doctors, IMSA, and all those people.
Yes.
I'd say there's probably at least 75 people in there.
This is kind of a grassroots program here, because what happened, we were actually on the other side of this building. They were just laying out blankets, clearing off the glass, just setting up. Then the police came and said, you guys have to move. So now we've moved inside this warehouse. What type of equipment are they bringing inside here?
They're bringing mainly initial and primary triage type stuff. They're bringing in like gauze and pads and irrigation stuff, sutures, IVs, just basic necessities, things like that to get these people really, just cleaned up. And
Right. Well, they're just trying to clean them up to send them off to the hospital.
You've already treated some people. Tell me, what were the people telling you, the people who were hurt?
Just shock. They were just totally in shock. They didn't even really talk. They were just in shock.
We understand there will be several ambulances. We've seen about 4 or 5 already come through here, treating people, taking them on to the hospital. We'll keep monitoring the situation here, guys, as they start bringing these people in for care. Dave Balut here joining me. Dave, what do you have to add?
Well, I just took a look down the street at the Morrow building again. I see another bomb truck going, so apparently they're going to try to get out that third bomb that's been talked about. Still a lot of activity around the Morrow building. Security concerns that another one still might go off. That's what everybody's worried about.
That's the reason they have moved the media, everyone back. They're putting up tape here, as you can just see.
Robin?
Go ahead.
Can you, the paramedics and folks you're talking to there, is there any need, is there anything that the citizens can provide, other medical facilities can bring in, gauze or medical supplies, personnel? What do they need?
I think the main thing they need is just help. People who are, these people are just medical students. I think they just need people here who are able to treat people. As the one man was telling us, possibly 150 people could be on their way down here. So I think, if anything, they've got boxes and boxes of supplies, Jennifer. It's just maybe having the bodies here.
Medical personnel.
Exactly.
So if you're out there and you're watching, you're a doctor, a paramedic, a nurse, somebody who can help provide emergency medical care, you could respond to any of the downtown hospitals or to the scene, I guess, if they'll let you in. I assume if you identify yourself as medical personnel that perhaps you could get in.
We also want to note what they said a moment ago, that 514 people in that Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building on a daily basis. 514 people are working in there. Also, word from the White House that President Clinton has made this tragedy in Oklahoma City his top priority, dealing with that, sending FBI people down here